Hello again. Welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to FTB Interactions. So since last episode, I have been a little bit busy. You can see I got our melter moved out and everything, and our ore processing thingamajig is gone. Over here, I did move our apiary outside, so the one that's producing honeycomb is out here. And I split the bees in half, and they're building back up. And I've got one over here. This is just a simple thing. We did this last time we did interactions, where we just have a whopper feeding into a drying rack. And this is steadily producing honey for us. Not super fast, but we don't need it really to be super fast, in truth. And then if we pop over to here, you can see that I moved our melters over here. And whoops, I have this turned off so it's not actually pouring. GG me. But I moved our porcelain melter over to here, and we have one that's set up with the ingot cast, one that's set up with the casting basin. Just for some ease of automation, I'm using the same redstone clock. I don't really see a reason as to why I would need one side shut off and the other one not. It's really the only reason I shut it off is for server performance, really, whenever I'm not using it. So anyways, get that iron running back through there. And then over here is our little ore processing setup. I moved it over to here. And then in this chest, I went ahead and I made seared bricks. I made up some grout, ran it through the melter this time, so that way we're getting the 4 times output from that. And I did have a couple comments that I wanted to just quickly go over. First up, I had a lot of comments about stone drums. I know there's stone drums, but I think it's a waste to make stone drums for storing lava. I don't see the reason in it, because then I have to turn around and move it. Until I get fluid conduits, I have to turn around and move it from the stone drum into porcelain tanks to run the melter, whereas storing it in here, with porcelain tanks, I can just swap out the tank and not have to hands-on move the lava, which means, I don't get burned again, and it's a whole lot less work than moving it out of a stone drum until you get to fluid conduits. So I had a lot of comments advocating using the stone drum, but I don't see a purpose in it for lava. I feel that it is wasteful, personally. And then over here, I did have a comment from Yeocrast, I think I'm pronouncing that right, about stacking chickens. I did not realize that you could stack chickens. So a big thank you to Yeocrast for that. I've actually got some additional chickens that have been breeding up. I'm going to run some more, but we can take and, you can see that with 10 of them, the progress is going a lot faster as far as production. It's not really something that we need at the moment. As you can see, I've got plenty of this stuff. But a big thank you, because that does speed up the progress by quite a bit. As you guys know, I've never been a big fan of chickens, and the roost mod, I think it was roost mod that I messed with before when I did chickens, way back on Sky Factory. Maybe it was a different mod, but it was a whole lot different. If it was roost, it was a whole lot different than it is now. But I got to thinking, and we're getting close to pushing into steam-based power, but there's a couple things that I want to do before we get into steam-based power. And by the way, we are on 2.0.3 now. The server has been updated, but there is a couple things that I want to do before we push on to steam power. The first up is I want to get a good source of food. Definitely want to do that. Second up, I want to start into a little bit of basic astral sorcery so that we can get the tree beacon. Those two things are very, very key, I think. And then in addition, of course, we are going to have to get into a very small amount of Thaumcraft. And then we're going to have to mine up a bunch of tin, which, by the way, I threw that copper in there, but I don't know that I need to run the copper as copper at the moment. Probably just leave that as copper dust for right now, because I've got a decent amount of copper, and I think that may be okay for right now. So But as far as a proper source of food, I was giving it some consideration. One trick, if you're wondering about food, is you can type in like dairy, grain, and you can pull up every food in the game that contains all 5. And I was doing some thinking, and I think we're going to go with ham and pineapple pizza. It's pretty straightforward, it's pretty simple food source. And cow in a jar is a thing. Oh, we need structural glass. Okay, we're going to have to get to the alloy smelter before we can do cows in a jar. So just a standard cow would be fine. So yeah, let's go ahead and start off with the cow. Go ahead and knock that out. So what I'm going to want to do, let me get this. Thinking we're going to put it right in here. And we're going to deal with this rain in just a moment. Alright, so we'll drop down that. And then let's go ahead and put in our devil dust, our leather. Sorry, we do bone shard, devil dust, leather, beef, and then we do our shift right click. There we go, it's gonna hum, and here in just a moment, there we go, we have General Hans burger. Alright, so now we can start milking. Okay, we can make it like that. Basic work table. Okay, in that case, let me go ahead and make another basic work table to keep over here. Go. I keep these tools around just for crafting basic work tables. And then we are going to need a pot. I'm just going to use this pot. I really only use it for making pressed wax. So this will be fine. So we'll just keep this right in there. And that way we can just take and dump our milk in. And there we go. There's our 4 buckets of fresh milk. Yeah, it makes 4 per 1,000. So we're actually getting more output that way. Now as far as the rain goes, I know I need to eat. I'll eat in just a second. But as far as the rain goes, there is another quest added. Actually, I hadn't thought about this. It's one of my favorite blocks ever. The rain shield. You know, I use these in Enigmatica and I use them a lot in prior series. Love these things, and we can make them with a cloud. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Oh, we can't craft wool. Okay, 1 second here. In that case, I'm going to either need to summon sheep or which takes wool. Okay. Okay, now that we've got that, we're going to need to make cheese and we're going to need to make dough. This is fairly easy. It just requires that we get a basin, and we're going to need salt in both cases. And then over here we're going to need to start getting flour. We can do that easily with the mortar and pestle. I think that's going to be our best route for right now. And then our tomatoes grow, and then we just have to get pineapple. It's actually a fairly easy food, and it covers everything. It's not super high on you know, Shanks of Hunger or anything like that compared to most of the other ones, but it is fairly simple, and we're going to be able to keep up all of our nutritional values, which is very important. They're starting to get low, and I want to make sure that they don't bottom out on us. So I want to go ahead and tackle this. So our wooden basin is fairly simple. Let me get that real quick, and there we go. And then let's see, as far as making the salt that we're going to need, there's a couple different ways that we can do this, but probably the easiest way is either going to be going out to a river and just mining it. There's tons of it. I've seen lots of it. Or we can do the woven cotton method. It's okay. I'm not for sure, though. And I want to test it to see if the cotton is consumed. Because that's going to be the big selling point, I think, is if the cotton's consumed or not. Okay, the cotton is not consumed. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, so that means we're going to go ahead and set up another basic work table. And this one's going to be our salt. I know in the past it wasn't consumed because if you recall, we had that little setup before that was basically our little like small mini kitchen that we had the last go around, and we kind of had a little setup there where we used a well and a work table right next to each other. Let's take a look at the well. We're going to need some iron, but yeah, this isn't too bad. We're going to go ahead and go for that also. There we go. There is that. And we'll just put this in. I'll put it in right here. And that way we can just go ahead and just load this thing up. We keep our woven cotton in there. And there we go. You know, there's 36 salt. So, great. And then we're going to have a wooden basin set up. And we'll just put this right over here, I guess. It looks like making dough. We are going to need water for the cheese. Just the milk. But we can't use buckets of milk, really. Okay. I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to move, since I'm going to be doing a lot of water-based crafts, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and make a second wooden basin. And we'll just set this one up right here. This one will be for making our grain, our dough. And to get this flour, we are going to need a mortar and pestle. That's easy enough. Just for ease, let me go ahead and get another crafting station. Because I'd like to keep the mortar and pestle just for quick, because we're going to be making a lot of this, and it'll just make things a bit faster to do that. So to make our dough, we're going to add our flour, and then we're going to add our salt. And we're going to need our water in there. So we'll go ahead and toss our flour in and our salt. And then let me move that, and we'll just start stirring this. And it's going to take a few stirs. There we go. There's our dough. And then I'm going to go ahead and make one more batch of dough. Luckily, it's a bit of work messing with the basins, but it does make 4 dough at a time. And then in the case of cheese, it makes 10 at a time. You know, that's quite a few meals, really. So there we go. There's our 8 dough. And so this, I guess, really, I'll use the fresh milk for certain things, probably. But in the case of this, I suppose, yeah, I can't do that. So I'm just going to store that there. We can toss our milk in. We can toss our salt in. And we'll just get this stirred up. And there we go. There's our cheese. So 10 bits of cheese. Awesome. Now bakeware is really easy. We just need bricks. I'll get some of those cooking up. Our tomatoes. And then we are going to have to get the pork. For right now, though, I'm actually just going to place those there. I might even move our apiary over there. And then we also need to get ourselves some more pineapples planted again. I think I'm going to just remove out these. Honestly, the Pam's pineapples would be better. But until we get those, I'm just going to go with the plants version for now. And we'll start making our Pam's gardens before too long. It's just not really a big rush for us, I don't think. Because we can make this food pretty much with, I mean, you could make this food at the very start of the pack, I think. Yeah, with just overworld or just skyblock stuff before even needing, you know, pretty much just what comes out of a strainer would be fine. Alright, so let's go out. I need to find some sheep. I need wool in a bad sort of way, because I'm going to need to start summoning sheep before long to get us lots of black sheep for making cables for once we hit LV. It's not going to be something that's necessarily a rush right now, but it is going to be something before too long, in the not too distant future, we are going to start needing. And I'm going to need some wool to get rid of this rain. Though, what does it take to make Terra Bozu? We're going to need them to get up to an assembler. Just LV will be fine, but because I really like to get rid of the rain like server-wide. Oh, and right up here, worth noting, I did come across this. I was actually out running around a little bit between episodes, and I did find this. I'm not going to go in there right now. Okay, I did come across a few sheep, so we will be all set. And I'll be able to, I'm not going to worry about getting these home, but we'll be able to summon ourselves some sheep back at home. And I'm going to go ahead and warp on home. Now, as far as the skyblock goes, I'm not sure, like, because I know the quest is listed in here for the skyblock. But correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think anything spawns in the skyblock, right? I know no mobs do, and I was thinking that no passives do, but maybe they do. I haven't ever really lived very long in the skyblock on here, so maybe they do spawn. I'm not for sure. But let's go ahead and get ourselves some clouds. And then we're going to need that, and then we'll just put in, of course I'd get this done about the time that the rain stops, but, oh no, it's not stopped. But there we go, there is our rain shield. And we'll just go ahead and plop this sucker down right there. No more rain for us, we don't have to deal with that. But we don't have to worry about the rain anymore. I might move this and stick it like up there, actually. Yeah, let me do that real quick. Just so it's not like right in my way. Oh, you can't stick them there. Okay, well, in that case, we're going to put it right up here. That'll be fine. Alright. So we are now safe from the rain, and that does cover a fairly large area, so we won't have to worry about it anywhere around our current area, like setup. So, and we get some Clouds Bluff. That's actually kind of nice. That's one of the rustic herbs, so we do have that. Now, as far as crop growth, I know we get a sprinkler here, which would be awesome. I don't know if I want to go ahead and shoot for the gardens just to get that knocked out. We are going to need quite a few of these restoration apples. I mean, there are the apiaries, but the speed difference in apiaries without setting up a bunch of them just really isn't all that great, truth be told, so I'm not too concerned about that. But I wouldn't mind putting a sprinkler there, a cyclic sprinkler. We could also do worms, but they're not really server friendly. Sprinklers aren't really, but for the difference in speed, they're a lot better. So let me just go ahead and shoot for the sprinkler from the garden quest, actually. Alright, I've got most everything. I'm just waiting for 2 more pieces of raw beef at the moment. But let's go ahead, get ourselves 4 of our apples of restoration. And I'm going to go ahead and dump these in, and we're going to start running this and getting our ground traps. Now these will spread. I believe spread's turned on, but we can use our coagulated plant balls. We're going to be using these to duplicate our plants. So there's our shaded garden. So yay. And we'll go ahead and get another one running. And shaded garden, I don't think it tells. No, it doesn't tell in here what all can come from it. That's fine. Let's go ahead and just set up our gardens. For right now, we'll just put them over here, I think. So we'll start with our shaded one, and then we can take our coagulated plant ball if we want to duplicate, and there we go. You can see now we've got a bunch of shaded gardens. And then of course I can break these off and get some new types of vegetables and fruits and things. So we got spice leaves, we got tea leaves, we got rhubarb, we got sweet potato. There's our windy garden. Go ahead and drop that right there. There's sweet potato, turnips, blackberries, tea leaves, radishes, garlic. I'm not really after anything right this second. Nothing in particular anyways, but I just want to get the sprinkler at the moment. I'll go ahead and break those windy gardens. Now the only one you probably won't be duplicating a whole lot of to get everything is arid gardens. Of course those don't have many things that come from them. There's peanuts, cucumbers, onions, bell peppers, and potatoes. Awesome. And then I just need our 2 more beef. There's our soggy garden. And we did get some more tomatoes. I'm going to go ahead and just place these out. I want to get our garden filled out first and foremost. And I'd say, well, we're going to try to get some soybeans, I think. I think just going with the ground traps would take longer at the moment than what I'd really want. And more effort than just going with silk tofu. Okay, I managed to get soybeans. I also managed to get pineapple from Pam's, both of which come from tropical gardens. So if you're going for this, tropical garden all the way. That'll take care of it. So let me go ahead and just dump that stuff into there. I got a lot of other food types, but these are the two that we're actually after. The plants version's fine, but I'd rather go with this. I did get our last piece of beef also, which will be able to make our last garden, which of course is the arid garden. I'll be able to do that in just a moment. It is about to be a server restart. Okay, we got ourselves our arid garden, which will complete our quest, and we'll get our sprinkler. Wonderful. And just in time, because I am starting to get really low. I'm not going to be able to place this here. I need it on sand. Let me get a piece of sand real quick. There we go. There's all 6 of our gardens. But we got the 2 things that we really need, which is pineapple and soybeans. So, let me go ahead and just throw down our pineapples. I'm going to change out all these plants versions here in just a moment. Do that. And you can shift right click to change particles. I'm going to keep them off because I really don't need them on. And let me get my hoe real quick. There we go. Now we're getting some crop growth going. Oh, and I can place a candle on top. Perfect. Let's go ahead. I'm going to end up making a pretty decent sized little soybean area. Nothing too major, but I will want a few soybeans. And let me go ahead. We're just going to get a lot more output from these than the plants versions. Plants versions are okay, but you do get a whole lot more output because you only get like 1 each time you harvest the plants version, which is honestly it's more realistic. But the Pam's ones are going to give us a lot more pineapple. But anyways, we got ourselves some soybeans. And now what we're going to do, we have to start making tofu bacon, which we're going to be able to use our honey that we're producing. We're going to be able to use flour, salt. All these are really, really easy. The tofu, there's a couple processing steps, but it's actually not too bad to make. And then we are going to have to make cooking oil. I am going to have to make a juicer. And cooking oil, we should be able to use pretty much any kind of seed. So maybe our rice seeds. This would be a good use for those. We can't do that one. Okay. See, all seeds, but rice ones I guess don't flag as seeds. There's also walnuts, tea leaves, olives, or avocados. Not really any point in that. We're better off just going with any kind of a seed. Honestly, right now we've got a ton of tomatoes thanks to our sprinkler, so let's just do that. So there is a half stack of cooking oil. And then we're going to have to get our tofu, which is basically just a hammer with some bowls. Kind of ran down. I think it's only going to consume, or like the bowl's going to be reusable, I'm thinking. It is going to take some hammer durability, but that's not that big of a deal. Yeah. It's gonna be reusable, so we're just gonna break this down to firm tofu. It does use a little bit of water, but not too bad. And I think I can still produce salt with the hammer left in there. That's great. And then I can just move whatever I'm not using. So we've got our firm tofu. Then what I can do is make our tofagan. I'm gonna need to get a cutting board real quick. Let me get some bricks going. A half stack should be fine. Probably going to eat some like junk here in just a second, just so I can actually run again until I get this made. But yeah, we're swimming in pineapple and tomato at the moment, which is great because that means, well, actually, tomatoes, do these count for making vegetable bait with Pam's, or do they make fruit bait? But I'll be honest, with the sprinkler, I almost think 1 strip would be fine of this stuff, truth be told. Because it just bumps the speed up so much that I really don't think we need more than 1 strip, because I'm just swimming in tomatoes and pineapples already with very little effort on my part. Okay, so now I need honey and flour. This thing's got a few more steps, but it does make a lot of a lot of this stuff. And I will probably lay out some crafting tables for this, I think, just so we can easily kind of run down the processing line for making this. So that's one thing I might work on, like between episodes or after next episode or something like that. Just laying this out in a way that's easier for us. And then our tofu, we can just throw in here. It will cook in the kilns. I will say this sounds disgusting. I like tofu, but ham and pineapple pizza with the ham replaced with tofu does not sound appetizing. Alright. Man, these fields are like field. And then once I spider-proof everything, we will be in business, I think. Okay, so let's go ahead, get ourselves a bakeware, and then get our first bits of ham and pineapple pizza. There we go. There's 2 crafts of that. And now we have a half-decent food for getting our nutrition built up. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's cheap and easy to make. We'll be able to deal with our nutrition. And then, of course, we do have diminishing returns. You know, we don't need to eat it too much, which will be good. Now, one thing I want to do, because I am going to want to lay this out in a way that works out well for us. Let me just go ahead and get some more crafting stations going. Like here, we're going to do cutting board. We're going to do salt, our cooking oil, and then we'll have to do the tofu, which is easy. And then we need the honey and the flour. So there's that. So once we run out our tofu, then boom, we can make it here and just keep this stuff stocked up. And honestly, I don't guess that there's much else that we need. One more crafting station just for the overall craft, I think. It's such a simple recipe, in all honesty. It really, really is. So that, and then we'll have like our pineapple. To go ahead and use this plant's pineapple, I suppose. No, actually I'll just stick with these. It's not like I'm short on them. That. There we go. And boom, there's 8 more. And we'll go ahead and set up one more just for making our grain, our flour. Which honestly, for the flour, it might be best if we go ahead and switch to rye. Because we can still make hay bales with rye. And we'll be able to make flour with that. And we'll get more output with rye than we will with wheat. And in addition, of course, zombies aren't going to break rye, they break wheat. I still need to grow wheat because I'm going to need seeds for growing chickens. But I think I'm going to break one more layer of this rice and just place in rye there. And there we go. There's a bunch more tofu, like a whole bunch. We'll be good on tofu for a while, I think. And honestly, wheat, I'm just going to go ahead and make that into seeds for breeding our chickens. We really won't need a whole lot of this. And once we start into Astral Sorcery, we'll be able to make, well, actually, I think sprinklers, we're going to need LV also before we can make sprinklers. Yeah, we're going to have to get LV electric pumps for that. But that's okay. We can get by with one. That's more than enough for the time being, I think. Okay, I did set up another crafting table here just for making our cooking oil. And I'm going to set up one more, like right here. And I'm going to, let me grab a brick real quick. Let me go ahead and get another cutting board real quick. We'll throw that in there. And what we're going to do, we're going to take and pull up 2 of these fields. I don't need this many tomatoes and this many pineapples. I really, really don't. So I'm just going to cut out these rows entirely. We're going to plant bell peppers in one. We're going to plant onions in another. And let me cut out, I've got cotton over there. Let me go ahead and cut out this cotton here. And we're going to go ahead and plant spice leaf down through here. And really, I think what I'd like to have is maybe this side of the farm is just for our food. This side of the farm is a little bit slower, but this is all of our utility junk. So technically I could get rid of the rice and the cotton, move some, like a rice line over here. Maybe get rid of a line of lotus or something to get it sorted. But we're going to make probably some bigger farms before too long, so it's really not that big of a concern. This is just our starter farm, so. Okay, our first bell peppers are grown, our onions are grown, and our first spice leaf is grown. And I'm going to go ahead and use all but one of these, just to kind of fill out these fields a little bit. But then what we're going to do is we're going to put in, over here we're going to put in bell pepper, onion, spice leaf. And then if we want to make our other food, like we're going to have our ham and pineapple pizza, but our other food, we take out, no, that's not right. 1 second here. Oh, I figured it out. Okay. This is actually kind of funny. What am I? Oh, I'm missing flour. That's fine. There's 48. Let me grab 2 crafts of that. And if we want to craft the other food, we just take out pineapple. We take out our cooked tofu, drop in raw tofu, and we get pizza. Boom. That easy. And then we can take this pizza, which is an okay food, but we can drop it into here and get supreme pizza with the bell peppers and the onions. So there we go. And that's a really strong food. It does not contain fruit like our ham and pineapple does, but this one kind of just keeps our nutrition filled out, and this food is kind of our alternate. So we'll kind of bounce back and forth between these two foods. Both of them very easy to make. We could take it even farther and we could do like, I mean, pushing for barbecue sauce wouldn't be that bad. I mean, there's pizza soup as well, but there's also like the anchovy pizza once we get our water traps up and running. And then there's the meat feast pizza, which we can start making before too long, which is just basically adding in pepperoni, pork sausage, some kind of beef, and some kind of chicken. So we will push on to that. That's going to be our first top tier food this go around, I think. We're going to go for a very pizza focused food experience this go around. And they're so easy to make. And now I've got 2 pretty decent foods. I mean, this one's not as strong, but that's okay. And our nutrition should build up pretty well. Okay, I think I figured out a battle plan to kind of get us all sorted. So altogether, our garden is going to have onions, bell peppers, pineapples, tomatoes, soybeans, rye, spice leaves, grapes, and white mushrooms. That's for our 9x9, our food garden. And this is going to give us very good starter food overall, I think. Now, right now, we are going to just be eating grapes because I don't have everything I need for one thing in particular. My long-term plan is to have supreme pizzas, ham and pineapple pizzas, regular pizzas, and then I also want to have the meat feast pizza, which is this one right here, which we can pretty much make. I mean, I can make pepperonis, no problem. That's bell peppers, spice leaf, salt, and cooked tofu. Pork sausage is cooked tofu, salt, spice leaves. Pizzas we're already making. The tofu is the tofu, the flour, the cooking oil, and spice leaf. But the problem is the tofu. So there's tofu, there's mushrooms, that's why I planted the white mushrooms. There's cooking oil. There's soy sauce, which is just more soybean craft. But we need black pepper. We're going to have to get peppercorns. I'm going to have to find a peppercorn tree to get that up and going. I don't think that peppercorn was one of the trees that they gave us. I was thinking they gave us a tree from a quest, but it must not be. We're going to have to actually go out and find peppercorn. Not a big deal. We get our hands on that. We can start making meat feast pizzas. No problem whatsoever. So our long-term food will have that instead of the grapes. And then right now we're going to be eating grapes just because I want to build up my fruit. Pizza is going to cover everything else great. But the only thing that I have fruit on is this one, and its nutritional value is only 1.8%, whereas these other ones are 3 and 3.8%. So the rest of these will probably skyrocket in comparison to the fruit at the beginning. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our grapes and we're going to take and do fruit salads. And so that's going to be this slot with fruit salad. And then we take our fruit salads and we make grape salads. Not the best of food, but it's going to cover that nutritional aspect. And this is going to get us pretty well rounded for like starter foods, I think. and we won't have to be eating some of the junk that I've had to eat starting out. No more eating cotton, for starters. That's good. I need 2 more grapes. Turn these into fruit salad or grape salads, but yeah, and I think that's going to put us pretty good. And then I'll keep an eye out because we're going to be doing some exploration in the next episode, because we do need to go out. We need to find ourselves an astral temple so that we can start into some astral sorcery. I did see some snow right over here. Pretty good chance that there might be an astral sorcery temple on that. You tend to find them at high elevations, so that's going to be a great starting point for us. But there's one thing in particular I want to do before we go out, and that is I want to make a weapon, and we're going to kind of combo that with another small project, I think, which if it works out for us, we will be in really good shape to go exploring to get our peppercorn. That's what I'm thinking. And then once we get that sorted, once we get peppercorn, I may end up moving this farm out of here, setting up a small building that's just for our food craft. We'll move our cow over there. We'll move all of our work tables and get everything organized so that we can do all of our food crafts in one building for the time being while it's manual. Do all that in one building. Have some peppercorn, nodes set up. Not really trees, but the nodes. A good amount of those set up so we have plenty of black peppercorn. Really, we don't need a lot of it because we're just making tofu with it, so it shouldn't be too bad for us. But anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point 4 of this episode, so I am going to end this one out here. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Stay updated with when new videos come out. And as far as next episode goes, we will be doing exploration and starting some basic magic stuff so that hopefully in the following episode we will be starting into steam-based power, which will be exciting. We'll start into that, and that really kind of begins our Greg Tech, the Greg Tech part of the pack. Because right now we're really just doing kind of the starting, kind of introductory stuff, getting all this stuff out of the way. So we'll be hopefully starting into the actual Greg Tech stuff in the episode after that. Also, I want to say a big thank you to all the new patrons that we've got on the server. I actually have quite a few people that have joined in, including Sereth, who is, of course, the creator of the pack. So, big thank you to everybody that has joined, and a big thank you to him, of course, for making the pack and kind of joining in on the server. So, and with that, I'm going to end out this episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care. Stay safe. I'll see you guys then.